Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another one of my travel videos. Today we are in Paw Paw, West Virginia. Nice little old turn-of-the-century schoolhouse here on the property. Beautiful. The reason we're here is to winterize. All the trailers have to have the lines blown out. This is in the mountains. It gets very cold here. Don't want any blown water lines. I'm the first one at camp this time around, and as such, I'm working on getting some firewood together. Got a little something to start with. We usually keep a small fire going during the day so that by the time the evening comes, we've got a nice coal bed for a bonfire. Hornet has become very interested in me all of a sudden. Good day to you, Mr. Hornet. I'm going to try to get a few things filmed while I'm up here, so welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy your stay. So now let's resume with a little hike. Figured I'd let the fire thing hold off for a few minutes. I mean, there's plenty of wood here, obviously, but I don't have a chainsaw or an axe, so I don't want to burn up all the wood just yet. Here's the camp firing range. As you can see, it goes up the side of the hill here. Fun stuff. So I figured we'll take a little hike down to the river. It's just woods as far as the eye can see, which is right up my alley. Love the outdoors. It's not far from home. It's about a 2.5-hour drive for me. So here we have a creek that runs right along the border of the property, right past the entrance, through the entrance actually. You have to cross this creek to get in. And luckily for me, it's been a rather dry season, but the creek's still moving. But in past seasons, when it was really wet, this creek would come up quite a bit. Now it's just a nice little babbling brook, so I had no problems crossing it. So there's just no end to the scenic beauty of this area. I don't know how easy it is to see in this video or if it's showing up very well, but across the creek here is a nice open meadow. There's another camp over there, but there's this beautiful open meadow with the big rolled bales of hay. So here's a spot that I've been meaning to film for quite some time. You wouldn't know it to look at it necessarily, but this is actually an old cemetery. Looking for the grave markers here. I know there's a couple on this little ridge. Alright, here we go. These little pieces of slate that are sticking out of the ground are primitive grave markers. They're sort of random, but if you get up close, you can see that there were actually inscriptions on them at one time. Can't really make out what this one says, but another one here. Now these had to have been small children's grave sites because they are very close together. All I can make out from this one looks like IAD, and it says maybe IC, died, and then the rest of it is illegible. Again, very closely grouped together. This one's completely washed out. I can see where there are inscriptions on it at one time, but Nothing legible there at all. And this one's just about toppled over. So we've arrived at the river. One of my favorite places here at camp. Caught a few fish out of here. Nothing big. No bass or anything, just kind of little panfish. But I don't know how well this translates in the video, but this water is just crystal clear. You can see the bottom all the way across, more or less. It's actually about 70 degrees today. It's tempting to kick my shoes off and at least get my feet wet. Probably wait and come back later with some appropriate shoes on. It's not pleasant to go barefoot in these waters. It's nothing but a rocky bottom. Just kind of chews your feet up and you slide around on the algae, and before you know it, you're soaking wet, which is something I don't necessarily want to be today. So the next place that I was going to film was a nice open meadow where we shot our fireworks on the 4th of July. But at the moment, it sounds like there's guys up there taking target practice, which is cool because it doubles as a little shooting range. That sounds like a 22. It doubles as a shooting range for the Airbnb cabin, which is up on the next property over that way. So we'll let them do their target practice and continue on. What we built there looks like one of those state park kiosks where there should be a sign saying "You are here." We have achieved fire. All done the old-fashioned way, a little bit of paper and some kindling wood. No accelerants were used in the building of this fire. So now they're taking target practice at the top of the hill, which is up above camp. Right up that way. I'm not sure what they're shooting up there, but it sounds fairly impressive. When a shot's fired, you can hear the echo all through the valley here for several miles, I'm sure. It just keeps rumbling off in the distance. The video. It's really amazing to hear it. The sound just ricochet across the hills. Pick up where we left off, well, 3 days ago anyway. It's the last day of camp. All the trailers are winterized. Everything is cleaned up, put away. Spent a lot of time splitting wood just to keep a fire going because it was cold at night. Right over here, this is the remnants of scrap wood that was left here by the milling operation that once operated here. Not too long ago. I believe it was operating almost up to the point where the new owner bought the property. Not sure if you can see, there's a little chipmunk scurrying around in that wood pile. I guess there's a couple things left to see. That's the meadow that I was talking about the other day. Very scenic. And the creek, which we've seen parts of. Let's see, there's also this little swimming hole right here off of this rock. It's about, I get about neck deep in it. It's got to be about 5 feet deep. I believe it's spring fed because even on the hottest day that water is cold as ice, but quite refreshing under the right circumstances. I decided to come sit by the little swimming hole for a couple minutes and try to show you guys how clear and beautiful this water is. I'm not so sure it's translating in the video. It might just be catching reflections off the water and you can't really tell, but there's also little fish that hang out down there that when you jump in, they like to nibble at you. It's always fun. Guess we'll walk over here and get a little bit better look at the field. I think they used to graze cattle in this field, but I'm not so sure they do anymore. Yep, white-tailed deer. They don't seem to be too confronted by my presence at all. Very nice. Hi, Mr. Deer. Oh, hello. Yeah, you. Happy, happy little deer. Guess this will sort of be the parting shot. Thanks for coming along with me if you made it this far. I hope to bring more content like this, more nature, in the future. And thanks again for hanging. Peace.